Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome along if it's one of your first videos you've seen. So today we're going to talk about approaching a junction to turn left or turn right. So what is approaching a junction? So there's two types of a junction work. So turning into a road, so approaching a road and turning into it as approaching a junction, or coming to the end of a road and turning left or right, and that's emerging from a junction. So some would be used to maybe call it a major to minor turn. So approaching would be a major road into a minor road very often, and a minor to major road would be the emerging. So what can go wrong here? Very often things that go wrong with approaching a junction is approaching too fast. So you approach too fast and you then end up with no time to do everything. You go around the corner a bit quick, which then can lead to turning too wide, being on the wrong side of the road, turning around the corner and there's something that you can't see, and then all of a sudden you've got to brake really heavily. Another one could be you just go straight past it because you don't get the opportunity to slow down and turn around because you think you're going too fast. Or you go so fast that you brake so hard and you stop because you're not sure that you're going to make it around the corner. Observation work at a junction is the #1 reason for people failing their driving test. It's so important. You do it so very often, and there's so many things that contribute to poor observations at a junction, and junction work being the #1 reason why people fail their driving test. I did do a video on the top 10 reasons why people fail their driving test, and I'll link that up the top there, so you can have a look at that and so you get an idea of what the top 10 reasons are. Key to doing good junction work is good routine. So the routine that majority of people would teach is mirror signal maneuver and then its expansion MSPSL. So there's also another video that I've done about just MSPSL. It's a short video. I'll link that up there as well. It gives a basic overview of what it is. We will talk through it, but hopefully the other video will give you a bit more of an understanding as to a bit more detail on it. As you're approaching a junction, we'll start with approaching a junction and turning left into the junction. You'll be driving along the road, and the instruction you'll get from your driving instructor or from the examiner would be something along the lines of, okay, we're going to take the next road on the left. So that's going to kick you into right. I'm going to take the next road on the left. Can I see it? Right, I've got it. And then you're going to need to start your routine. So mirrors. So always in pairs, mirror interior and then left. S, signal. So signal left, so indicator down. P, position yourself. Keep the car where it is. You shouldn't be too close to the curb. You shouldn't be miles away on the other side of the road. Just hold your lane position here. So you don't need to do anything different. Definitely don't want to swing out to the other side of the road to swing in, because you've got to think you've just told people you're going to turn left. If you then move the car to the right, it's going to throw people out a little bit. So hold your position. There is probably the only exception I would say to that is if you're turning into a very, very tight driveway or a very, very tight alleyway or something like that. You may need to give yourself a little bit more room to get around the corner, but in general, for 99% of the time you'll be out, just keep your position. So you hold your position where you are. You then got to slow down. So take your slow. The next is S, so speed in gear. So take your speed off. Take the speed off that you need. If you're doing 30 or 40 miles an hour, you're not going to want to do 30 or 40 miles an hour around that corner. It's just not going to be controllable. It's not going to be safe. So we're going to start to brake, slow ourselves down, make the assessment of what gear we're going to need. Now, a general rule of thumb that I would go with is second gear is usually going to be fine for around most corners. If the corner is really, really tight, you may need to go to first gear. So if you've got to go around a really sharp corner, you might want first gear. If you've got a road and it's almost just like a continuation, you may be able to stay in the gear that you're doing and just take off a little bit of speed just to make sure you're safe. But in general, second gear is not going to see you too far wrong in almost every situation. But the important thing is that you bring the speed down first, select your gear, bring that clutch back out. So the engine's helping slow the car down. So you're at that stage, you're going to be pretty close to the corner now. So you've done your speed and gear, and that leaves you into the last part of the routine, which is your final look. So you want to be looking, when you're turning left, you want to keep looking around the corner as much as you can, but pay attention to those people coming towards you. So as we come, is there anyone coming towards me? Are they likely to try and cut in front of us? Now, There are sometimes people do not want to be behind a learner, and people might try and go and maybe cut the corner a little bit on their way in if they're going to turn in front of you. So just be prepared that other people may make judgments that aren't quite right. You'll do it yourself as well. Everybody does it, but be prepared. And if you've done all this routine, it's not going to, that should be where you're at. You should be able to have the time to do that. And then keep looking around the corner. Look where you're going. Okay, it's really, really tempting to just keep staring out the window. So as you come around the corner, you don't want to just stare out the window. Look down the road you're turning into, so then you know when you need to start taking the steering off and straightening it up. Get the car nice and straight. Once you're down the road and you can see it's safe to go, you're going to squeeze on the gas and have a little check in your mirrors just to make sure that everything behind you is going well and there's no one maybe trying to overtake you. And then you're driving off, and then you're on again, you're off and you go down the road. Something that can go wrong, as I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier when you're turning left, is that if you carry a little bit too much speed or you don't steer enough, you can do what's called swan necking. So you turn into the road, you come out, you go wide, you go onto the wrong side of the road, you then steer back, and then you have to straighten up. You then generally end up getting close to your curb, and then you straighten up again. So you need to be really careful about carrying too much speed is normally your issue when you have things that will go wrong with this one. There is other things, obviously there's a whole multitude of things it could be, but carrying too much speed is the big one. As with all driving, the P part of this routine, so we said MSPSL, your position throughout driving, throughout the whole of driving is the most important thing. You don't want to be, when you're driving down the road, you don't want to be too close to the curb or too close to the white line. And that's something you need to bring into when you're coming around a corner. You don't want to get too close to the curb because you could hit it, go up it. You don't want to be on the wrong side of the road or too close to the white line because you might hit a car coming the other way, or you're going to position yourself in a way that might make other road users feel uncomfortable. So position throughout all of your driving, and especially through when you're making turns, is really, really important to keep you safe. And so stay on your own side of the road. So now we'll just talk about applying this to when you're approaching a junction, turning right. Same thing. So check your mirrors, do them to the right this time, mirror, mirror. Signal this time up to the right instead of down to the left. Position. This time you're just going to, you may be able to see out the front there, there's a faint line that runs down the middle of this road, and a lot of roads obviously have the centre line. So get yourself over towards the centre line. Once you've done that, you're in your position. It's a good position. Speed and gear. So, as we said before, you're going to be assessing all the way up. You're going to be making judgments, looking, when can I go? Where is my gap? All these questions all the time. Where's my gap? Got a gap? Okay. I can slow down, and I can try and slow down and keep moving. Maybe staying in second gear to keep moving. Let the car come past or whatever it is, and then turn in behind it. You never, never, never want to rush to beat and turn someone in front of somebody. You'll end up cutting the corner. I'll give you an example of that when I can do. Keep yourself positioned well. Turn yourself around nice and controlled. Same thing with your speed, new gear, down, make it selected. Get the clutch up to get the car under your control and get round. Now, if there's a queue of traffic, you're going to have to stop. You can't just keep going and keep the car rolling when there's a queue of traffic, because you'll end up going down the road. So, what we want to do, stop the car, select your gear, get your car ready for first gear, and now you're looking, right, where's my gap? Where is it? How do I make that judgment? How do you know? So turning left, nice and easy, because you can just keep going round 99% of the time. There's not too much that gets in your way other than pedestrians crossing the end of the road. Where you've got to cross oncoming traffic, you need to make a judgment. How do I make that judgment? So what do I have to do? How do I know a gap's big enough? Now, some people would say if you could walk across in that gap, there should be enough space. So if you could think I could walk across in front of that gap, you should be able to drive your car across in front of it. You've got to make that decision. A lot of that comes with experience. So you should be getting feedback from your instructor to say, okay, maybe we missed one there, could have done a bit better there, we could have gone then. And the more and more you do it, the more and more you'll get used to it. And then once you're into the road, you're on that other side of the road, you've made that turn, same thing as before. Check your mirrors, make sure everything's good, just a quick glance, and then on you go and up to speed. Okay, what we'll do now is I'm going to get driving, and I'm going to talk you through I'll go through a few examples of turning left, and then we'll apply it to the turning right as well. So I can talk you through the lefts and the rights and how it would look and how to give yourself the time. Okay, so here we are, we're on the road, we're going along the road here. and I know I'm going to get the instruction about now from my driving instructor. Okay, take the next road on the left. So I'm going to check my mirrors. Done that. Indicate left. We can see the road ahead of us here. Indicator back on. I'm in second gear. I'm happy with the gear. I'm going to go round nice and slowly, keeping my position. Come round. I've stayed on my side of the road. Check my mirrors. There's a car behind me, so I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to take the next road on the left again. So I'm going to check my mirrors and indicate. Again, I don't need to slow down too much. My position is good. Speed and gear. Just a tiny bit of brake. And then around I go, keeping on my side of the road. Straighten the wheels up. And on we go. Check my mirrors again. That car's followed me. There's another road coming up on my left, just about where that dog just crossed the road. So I'm going to check my mirrors, indicate left, start slowing down now. Lots of pedestrians here, so something to look out for. Down into second gear, it should be fine. It's quite tight, but I should be all right. And then get that steering round, straighten myself up, check behind me, all good. Dog stayed on the pavement on the other side. And I'm just going to pull up on the left. So I've checked my mirrors, signalled. Over in this nice little shady bit, and I'll stop about here. Okay, so hopefully there you can see, so there's the 5 things. So M, S, P, S, L. Your mirror check, you don't need to do a big head turn. If you've got your mirrors adjusted properly, nice and easy. Signal, easy just to click it on straight after, and position, you hold still. So those first 3 steps happen really quickly. Really close together. After that, your speed and gear. So depending on how fast you're going, depends on how much slowing down you need to do. So everything I've done there has been pretty slow. We will get onto some higher speed stuff, and I'll show you that in a moment. And then you look, it's nice and easy. You're looking down the road, it's nice and clear. You might have noticed as well, we got all those pedestrians. That's part of the things you need to be looking for. So some pedestrians crossed the road in front of us. Another dog walker and a dog walker went around the road. So you need to pay attention to that. Just take a little bit more time, see what they're doing, and then try and drive in after them. Always better to drive in after something that could be hazardous. Drive in after the hazard and go in before it. So what we'll do now is I'll go and show you some of those right turns now. So here we go, approaching a right hand turn. So I'll check my mirrors, signal right, in a good gear, it's nice and clear. Round we go, stand on our own side of the road, and then check a mirror quick, and on we go. Here we go, we can take the next road on the right here, we just see it by that fence. So I'll check my mirrors to the right, signal right. Checking ahead, nothing coming, good in second gear, round we go. Stand on our side of the road. Okay, so there's another road coming up on our right just after this car, so I check my mirrors to the right, signal right. Holding myself just a little bit out from the curb, a little bit further away than I would do normally. I'm in second gear, it's nice and clear, it's nice and quiet around these ones, just to get you an idea of what we do. So then we go around, nice and steady, control the car around, stay on our side of the road. Nice and straightforward. Thank that guy for waiting. Always nice to be courteous. Another road on the right, so mirrors, signal. I'm just a bit close to the white line. Slow my speed down. I can see there's nothing ahead of me. Looking into the road, nothing really to worry about. Stay on my side. Round I come, and on we go. Next road on the right, just here. Slowing down. There's a car behind me, so I know this road's quite tight. I'm going to go a little slow. Around we go, staying on our side of the road, really tight to get into this one. Car's still behind me, so I'm going to take the next road on the right. So, narrow road, slowing it down, I'm in second gear already, and then this is a corner cut as we come across here. So hopefully you can see that from the front shot there. I checked down the road, make sure it was safe. I drove around that corner on the wrong side of the road. You don't want to be doing that, you want to stay on your side of the road. You stay on your side of the road, you should stay safe. So that just about wraps that up for approaching a junction. What we'll do next in the next video is we'll talk about what you do as you are approaching emerging from a road, emerging from a junction. Okay, so hopefully you found that nice and informative, and it will help you out. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Remember, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you get notifications from when we upload more to this series and to the channel.